So to my guests, thank you so much for being on the show. How you feeling? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You know, y'all, we laughing because we were trying to figure out how to put the sound on because we was like, yo, what the fuck? Zoom is like mad annoying. But besides that, I'm a little tired, but I feel good. I feel good. I feel
Same.
cute. Yeah.
See, that's all that matters. I was like, "Ooh, should I wear a wig? Should I not wear a wig?" I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wear a wig.
Well, the wig is cute. I like the hairstyle.
Thank you. It's like, and the funny thing is, like that little scuffle in the beginning, that shit made me so hot. Like my body's already like tickling, but I'm like, you know what? So I'm sitting in front of the window because I'm like, okay, I could look outside to kind of like throw my mind off things. Because if I sit underneath the fan, you're gonna hear all the audio. So I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, because Zoom was stressing us the fuck out. So I was starting to get hot and flustered too. Shit. Now, before we get into your story, can you explain to the listeners what type of water allergy do you have?
So I was diagnosed with this rare allergy called aquagenic urticaria. I'm basically allergic to any form of water, including my own sweat and my own tears.
Wow. I know we're
Again,
going to get into it, but I've been following your journey for quite some time. And I didn't even know that this was like a thing.
you know the funny thing is, a lot of people don't. So when I do tell people, they like, "Okay, you crazy," or "Yeah, okay, you
Right.
can't be allergic to water. How you still live in our bodies?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, if you knew the amount of allergies that existed, then
Hmm.
being allergic to water would be like, what? It'll be
I
little
know.
to
I know niggas be getting on your nerves and they be like, girl, you're not allergic. Look, yo, she made a face.
Yeah, it's like when I was younger, people be like, yeah, okay, you just don't like water. People just chomp it up as you nasty because what do we need water for? Everything. You need it
Right.
to cook, you need it to eat, you need to shower. So people used to just casually think, oh, I'm just saying I'm allergic to water because I don't like drinking water. Or she
Hmm.
don't like the bathe. How you from the Caribbean? You allergic to water. Eh. The
Yeah.
story
Oh
goes
my
on
God.
and on.
How many niggas you done cursed out?
So many people. And the funny thing is, so like my partner, we went to high school together, but like only a few people knew my struggle in high school. So when we
Mm.
actually started dating, I remember one night, like we went to the Hard Rock, the Guitar Hotel in Miami.
Hmm.
And he had got this decked out ass room and it was like the little tub and everything. And I was like, okay, that's real cool. So we're in the hotel, whatever, and he started running the water, and I was like, oh, I'm allergic to water. He was like, okay, whatever. He just brushed it off. He didn't really take it serious, but okay. I got in the tub knowing damn well if I get in the tub, what would happen. I got in the tub in like less than 2 minutes in the water. Like I had to zoom out the water. And I started itching, and he laughing and joking. Oh, you scratching like a crackhead, blah, 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 blah. You just messing. You just
Why
playing
did you
around.
get in the water when you know what was going to happen?
You don't believe me, I gotta show you. If we supposed to spend the rest of our life together, honey, you're gonna have to figure it out one way or the other. So
Right.
that was when he started taking me serious because he actually saw like he was there for like everything. My skin went red, hives and everything. That's when he started taking me serious. But it was also like, okay, damn, I take you serious. But then it was like, you sure it just wasn't dirty? Because we had everything. We bought bleach and everything, clean the tub, but it was just one of those things where like sometimes I just gotta show people because if I don't show you, then you think I'm capping. Oh, she just lying, whatever. But it
Right.
was one of those moments where it was like, I told you.
But then
And
that's
he ain't
putting
never doubted
yourself,
me ever since.
but that's putting yourself at risk though.
Putting myself at risk. But the funny thing is, okay, so I've always known I was allergic to water. But because I was never like seriously diagnosed, I didn't know the
The
what would
severity
you say?
of it.
The severity of it. So I just assume, okay, if you have any form of allergy, you go through the phases, and after you go through the phases, like that's it. So all my life, I went through all the phases, and I just had to deal with it. But it
Wow.
wasn't until about like as the years progressed, like things just started getting worse. But even when I go to the doctor, everybody has something different to say. It's like, oh, okay, I'm allergic to water. How do you know you're allergic to water? Every time I come in contact with water, this is what happens. But it's just like, oh, okay. So they'll document, take pictures, but nobody actually wanted to diagnose me because now you're putting your license at risk. You have people, I've been
Mm.
to doctors that been in the field for over 30 years and never came across a patient with this allergy. So here I am.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is da da da. Nobody take me serious. But as things started progressing, I keep like a folder in my phone, and I just happened to go into shock. And that's when I learned that, oh yeah, you could die. I just thought it was just like, okay, I get hives, I itch, and then that's it. Because it's never happened to me before. But then I started experiencing like more and more things, and I was like, oh, it's serious. So
I
now,
want to touch on that because I feel like you touch on a lot of different things. But let's talk about the doctors because when I was doing research, they said that only 50 cases have been reported in the medical history. But since I've been following you and then, Big Brother, once they see you following something and you looking into it, they'll start showing you other things or other people who have it. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, I'm seeing a lot of Black women who are experiencing this.
You know, the funny thing is, like, okay, so years ago, it's this girl from the UK. Her name is Nia. And she used to document her journey on YouTube. So that's how I even figured out that you could be allergic to water. It started out there.
But she Black?
No, that's the funny thing. She's not. But it wasn't until I started posting about it on TikTok. That's when I got like people like, oh, I noticed when I do such and such, I this and that. And I was like, oh, okay. At first, I didn't really think nothing of it, but I don't know. It's weird because like I could talk to so many people and I get like other Black people that say, okay, oh, I'm allergic to water, but it's different. It's different variation because some people, I'm not going to say you're allergic to water. They're allergic to like the temperature of the water because it happened to me in the beginning. They used to say, okay, when I started going to the doctors, it would be, the first thing they're going to tell you is to change your diet. But then it came down to, maybe the water temperature is too hot because there is a thing, it's heat urticaria. Like if your body overheats, then you go into hives. So I guess in the beginning stages, the doctors just thought, okay, I was using the water too hot and that was causing my body to overheat.
Wait, how old were you?
12. I was like 12.
Wow.
So I was
and
like,
you started noticing,
started noticing all this stuff. So then it was like, okay, try using the water at a cooler temperature and see if you have the same effect. And I was still having the same effect. And I went through like from like preteen to like all throughout my teenage years, I went through just a girl. I thought I was allergic to damn like ketchup. So I went my whole entire life without eating ketchup because I guess because ketchup, red dye, whatever.
Yeah.
So the doctors used to say, oh, change your diet. So my mom started taking away all those things because she was just thinking, maybe this is what's causing it. And no matter what we did, the issue was still there. So it took me like, it took me like years before like I finally started like bumping into doctors that was like, oh yeah, I know what that is. It's like, oh, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah. Wait, did this run in your family? Like, do they know what I don't even get it out. You already know I'm about to ask.
Child,
like, where does this condition originate from? Like, how does it happen?
Nobody knows. Like, and I guess that's why there's no cure for it because they don't know what for sure is causing it. I was told one time that it's something in my body that's reacting with the metals and the minerals in water. But there's so many additives in water, like for you to sit and say, okay, well, it's this metal. It's gonna take forever to figure it out. So they just chop it up to say it's water because you don't know for sure what exactly is causing what. But it came to the point where it was like, okay, if you're telling me I'm allergic to water, okay, so why when I cry, my face get red and I get hives? Like, why when I cry, like my own tears burn? Why if I sweat and these things happen? And that's when the started was like, okay, yeah, it's aquagenic urticaria. Never heard of it in my life. I just used to think I was crazy, but.
And you could possibly harm yourself from just your sweat and your tears.
Everything. So I'm not a crier. I've never been a crier. And dealing with these emotions as a kid, I just had to go through the phases of people just thinking, oh, I just keep everything to myself. But it's not that I keep everything to myself.
You're protecting yourself.
Yeah, if I get emotional, like, because, oh my God, girl, I ain't got no patience. So I easily get like frustrated. And it makes my body hot. It's like being in the oven. Yeah. And the minute my body starts getting like that, then I already know like, I'm going to have an allergic reaction. So I try to like keep my emotions and stuff to myself. So like my partner, he's like, oh, you're so cold hearted. And it's like, no, because I can't be warm hearted like you because then I may end up in the hospital while nothing happens to you. So girl, yeah, it's just one of those things.
Damn, I know that it got to be frustrating.
It's frustrating. Even like, so I'm in Texas now and the heat is crazy.
Yeah.
And I know like on TikTok, people are like, oh, Like, why would you live there? And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter where I live. I can't outrun water because it's not just
Water
water.
is everywhere, and
It's
everything has water
everywhere.
in it. You're right.
Everything has water in it, and it's gonna be my own sweat that would be my downfall and my own tears. So it was just like, it doesn't matter really where I am. I'm gonna go through the same issues. When I was living in Florida, it was the same thing. When I was a flight attendant, it was the same thing. I just like learned to like mask my feelings and deal with it. But it's like now in the summertime, like now in summer, my kids aren't here because I can't go outside. I'm not gonna say I can't go outside. I just choose not to go outside because it's too hot. And the minute I go outside, it's like I get like, you know, when you're at the doctor and you get like a shot, it just feels like I have like 1,000 needles like prickling me. That's how it starts. So it's like it starts with like ticking. That's the warning. And you know, you just need to take cover or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy.
Do your kids know about this?
They know. My youngest is 2, and she already knows. She knows that something is wrong when I come in contact with water, because like normally my kids and my partner, they have to like help me like scratch. So it's like my son, like he's 11, so he's been seeing it. But for my daughter who's 2, she's just like, okay, why are you always itching, mommy? And it's just like, oh, because I can't say, oh, because the water is bad for me, because now she's gonna grow up thinking, oh, I can't drink that.
Right, because the water gonna harm her. Right.
Yeah. So.
But how does it feel to know that you're not the only one that's experiencing this? And with the help of social media, it's like you have your own community. Because when I was going through your comments, a lot of girls was like, thanking you. And like, I finally feel seen because I'm experiencing the same thing.
Let me tell you, the year before last year. Well, okay, when I moved to Texas about maybe like 4 years ago.
From Florida or somewhere else?
From Florida. So I moved from Miami to Texas. And of course the same issues were happening, but some parts of Texas, the water is harder than others. Well, some parts of Houston, the water is harder than others. And that's not just here, that's everywhere. So I know when water is hard. So people would normally say, it's because the water is hard while you're having issues. But then I started like getting like, these weird things on my body. So, okay, now I have to see another doctor. I went through about 3 doctors here, and the 4th one actually had a patient that was allergic to water 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so he documented, that case is documented in the medical literature. So I was going through my file and I was showing him like all my pictures, and I was telling him that, hey, the last time I went in water with my kids, I was in the water for 2 minutes, and then I felt my face it started getting like stiff, tightening, and my lips, they went like really flat. My face went white, and he was like, "That's shocked." He was like, "Why didn't you go to the doctor?" What? And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that's what was happening. Like I've been going through these phases like for so long in my life. I just chopped it up as it's just a part of my allergic reaction."
Nah, girl.
So
God
when I found him, he took me serious. All this, like, as I started talking, he was like, yeah, that's Aquagenic Urticaria. And I was like, so I'm not crazy. So it's like, it made me, I kid you not, that same day I got my diagnosis, I will never forget, I had a yellow slip and a white slip. And I went on Instagram, because I used to post like little things on Instagram, but I never really got like too personal with it. And that day when I posted it, and I was like, I'm not crazy. Like all these years I've been saying I'm allergic to water, and I finally got proof. And I posted on my story, and I was like, finally got proof. And so many people was like, we didn't think you were crazy. It was just weird. We
never heard of it, especially as a black person.
We never heard of it. Yes. Right. I was like, and then some people was like, it's just a natural human thing. If we're not aware of something, that we're ignorant to it. And I was like, okay, cool. Especially so then like, what? So one day I was just home, and my fiance, he was like, you want to be a content creator, why don't you just talk about like what you go through in life? And I was like, no, because if my video end up on the wrong side of the internet, then oh Lord, I don't think I can handle that side of being like a content creator. And one day I was home, and I was just like, I'm just gonna post it. You choose to believe me if you want to believe me. If you don't, you don't. But at that point, because I knew I had my diagnosis, girl, you couldn't tell me shit. And I already know if you came to me and be like, well, how are you allergic to water, this, and that? I had like, okay, well, here's this, here's that. So when I made the first video and it went viral, I was shocked. I didn't expect it to go
Yeah.
viral. I actually expected like more people to be like rude towards me than how it ended up going. And that one video made me feel so comfortable. And I was just
Yeah.
like, damn, I'm not the only one. Then I started hearing about like other weird, and I was like, damn. I too know how it feels to you're dealing with these things and only like your friend group or your family knows about it, but people on the outside world doesn't. So I was like, wow, when I had people like DMing me like, oh, how do you do with this? Or how do you do that? I was
Yeah.
like, oh girl, I was like, okay. I was like, damn, I'm not alone. I don't it made me feel good. And it's like now I'm not I don't even want to say I used to be embarrassed, but I just used to feel weird. I used to feel like an outcast because it's like, okay, if you're allergic to water, I naturally felt like when I tell people I'm allergic to water, they expect when they get around me, they expect me to smell because how you bathe?
Yeah. Well, niggas is ignorant, child. You allergic to what?
Yeah. I was just like, I don't know. TikTok really made me feel comfortable. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like TikTok made me feel like I had a safe space, and it got to the point where I stopped going on Instagram because now I'm like, okay, so many people over here they say they have it, they've been to doctors, and nobody's taking them serious. And I understood that because it took me from the age of 12 to 23 to where a doctor took me serious. And the first doctor to take me serious was actually somebody in Canada. I was on a work trip as a flight attendant. I would never forget when Sunwing, we had to fly in. Well, the company that I was working for the time, I was in Canada for 6 months. These were in the what was those aircraft when those aircrafts got grounded like a few years ago. So we had to come in with our charter company, and I was in Canada. And I started having issues, girl. And everybody was like, oh, okay, it's just environmental allergies. But I already knew what it was. But I'm gonna let you say whatever. And it got so bad, like, girl, my face, ooh, my face was so nasty. And like my company ended up they ended up like pulling me off the line, and I went to the doctor. And I went to the doctor. He was like, oh, this sounds like a water allergy. But at the time I was only just in Canada working, so I couldn't really get like to see a doctor. So he was like, I would advise you, when you return back home to Miami, you need to see a dermatologist and an allergist.
And of all the places you living at in Miami.
Girl, and then like when I went back to Miami, the doctor was like, he just like he brushed me off, and I was just like, okay, whatever. I just felt like it was just one of those things where I would always tell you, but never really have like, well, here a doctor diagnosed me, because I ain't gonna lie, nobody took me serious, and I always felt like maybe it's a license thing. They probably never heard of it, and here I am coming like telling you, and you're like, yeah, you don't want to be the first one with your name on it. So it wasn't until like 29. It wasn't until like 29, 30. Like here I am now. I went to a doctor, and he just so happened to know about it, and I was diagnosed. And girl, I felt so relieved because it was just like, wow, finally somebody hears me, somebody believes me.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of your story because, like you said, a lot of people don't know about this. Even when I was doing my research, only 50 cases are reported. So the fact that you are being so detailed about your journey is going to provide insight to those doctors who may not ever hear this. Because like you said earlier, some doctors may be afraid to even say that maybe this could be something because it's not common, it's very rare, and they don't want to put their license on the line.
Because even my primary care, oh my God, I had to switch from her. But I understood. Like when I went to her, I was complaining that, and this is after I went in shock. I was complaining that now I was struggling with dealing with like the thought of encountering water. So like I have a toddler. I do have to give my toddler baths. So I was telling her that, I felt like when I knew that time was coming, I would get like,
you probably had an anxiety attack.
I was getting anxiety attacks. And
Jeez.
I was, telling her, and I was like asking her like if I can get like some form of medication for like my anxiety attacks, and then she was like, "Why?" And I started explaining it to her, and I was like, "Well, I'm allergic to water." She was like, "You're allergic to water?" She was like, "I've been in the medical profession for 25 years, and I've never came across a patient." I was like, "Well, I mean,
and
Google
that's so insensitive."
So insensitive. She was like, "I've never heard of it before," and then it's I don't know if she just didn't believe me or she was in shock, but she was like, "Oh, can I see your documentation from your doctor?" One thing about it, girl, I always got them things in my purse. Always.
Yeah.
I always have it in my phone, and I always keep it in my purse. And I always
and do your husband know where it's at?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay,
So it's
good.
just like, she was just like, wow, I've never heard of this before. And like she went on Google and she was like, wow, it's only 50 cases reported in medical literature. And here you are, you're one of them. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't come in here. I want to come here and tell you that I'm allergic to water because it's just, to me, it's just one of those like outrageous things. You're going to expect to hear more. You're going to
Yeah.
expect to see more. And I just feel like it's one of those things that I can't lie about it because eventually you're going to want to see some type of proof. And if I have nothing to give, then you're going to be like, okay, well, she's a fluke. And after that, they girl, like she took me serious. She
But
took me
girl, why
very
do you think
serious.
I will come to your office and lie about a goddamn allergy to water?
I
Like,
have to pay a damn copay.
I
And
ain't
I'm
pay
gonna
a
have to
copay,
pay to go
bitch.
get these medications. Like what?
Yeah. Like, do you think I got
It's
time with
crazy.
these kids to be
I
lying?
was like the time I was like, man, it took me time to drive to your office. Then I had to sit in my car for a little bit, get out of my car and walk here. And the little 3 seconds that it took me to walk to the door, my body is already overheating because now I'm nervous. I have to prepare to tell you why I'm here.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I never know how it's gonna like be received on the other hand. So talking about it always makes me nervous. Or even sometimes I talk about it, I feel like I'm getting teary eyed because it's just like, oh, this probably like this bitch. Dang,
Right.
girl. Nothing wrong with her. Like she here you are. I'm like, I don't get anything from coming here telling you I'm allergic to water. I don't get no check from the state of Texas. I don't get
Yeah.
nothing for free. Like my life, I still live a normal life. Like most people, it's just I take more steps than a normal person. So it's like I don't gain anything coming here telling you I'm allergic to water. I'm just
Right.
sharing my story. Everybody else sharing their story online. So I'm just sharing mine.
Yeah.
Like,
Have
I
you,
think it's interesting.
does your insurance pay for most of this stuff? Because I can only imagine the amount of times you have been to the doctor because of this.
They do. They cover like all the basic stuff, but from me posting online, somebody was like, oh, your insurance should be paying for this, they can pay for that. And I was like, oh, see, I didn't know that. Because I was
Yeah.
complaining that the last time I went to the doctor, I was complaining to the doctor. That's when I started complaining about my scalp. Because years before, I didn't really have issues with certain parts of my body. Like for example, like having sores in my head, that's new. I just started like experiencing that. But the biggest part about it is I went to him and I was telling him that, oh, hey, I noticed that every time I drink water, I would feel nauseous. That's not new. That's something I've always felt from a kid. But girl, my mom used to be like, you just don't like water. And that was my excuse for not drinking water. Everybody thinks that. Even if you ask any one of my childhood friends right now, they'll tell you, oh, that girl don't like water. I ain't never
Mm.
seen Kimberly drink water. She just buy it to look pretty. But people don't know that when I drink water, it makes me feel like I'm gonna bring it up. So I just don't like doing it.
So
So
how
when
do
I
you stay
told the doctor,
hydrated?
girl, when I told my doctor, here's the thing. Okay, so aquagenic urticaria, it's a topical allergy. It's supposed to just affect the outer layer of your body. But it's
Right.
been two people have been reported in medical literature where they started reacting to their own bodily fluids. Now, I have not gotten there, knock on wood. I hope I never get there. But there are some people that I guess like they claim to say as time progressed, the allergy is supposed to get better. So it's supposed
Yeah.
to eventually go away. But in recent cases, it's been progressing to where it's getting worse. So when I was telling him that, hey, drinking water, he was just like, Miss Mills, unfortunately, like there's nothing I can't give you anything and say here do this because there's no specific medication or a specific cure for this thing. So you just have to live with it.
Right.
Okay, cool. I don't drink water, but I drink coconut water. So that's how I stay
Mm.
hydrated. I spend about $130 every month on coconut water from HEB. And somebody
Mm.
was telling me, girl, your insurance company need to pay for that because that's a necessity. But I'm like, you know what? To go through the hurdles of calling people and having to send this proof and that it's too
It's
much.
exhausting. Yeah. Like, I'm not
It's
going to
exhausting.
validate every single thing. Like, if I say
Everything. So
yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? This is now something I have to deal with. So I spend about $130 every month on coconut water. And on top of that, I have 100 and something dollars in medication because I do have to take allergy pills every day. And these allergy pills are just for hives. It doesn't necessarily stop the allergy from
It
occurring.
just
It just
keeps it
like
under
slows down.
control.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
slows down the hives, but I still go through the phases and everything. So it's just like, yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a
Are you
lot.
on medication for your anxiety?
I am. That's
Yeah.
one thing when after I spoke to the doctor and told her everything, like Yeah, she actually wrote me a prescription. So I do have medication for anxiety. I can't live without that. The other day with the hurricane,
Yeah.
girl, the other day with the hurricane, the other day with the hurricane, I was telling my fiance, I was like, what if it floods? And he didn't like, like I feel like sometimes he forget that I have a water allergy. It's like it's just becomes a part of our life now. It's just like sometimes it's like whatever. So I was just like, oh, we're in Houston, and we can't handle rain because it started raining from the Saturday before. I was in here pissing my pants because I was like, what if it floods? Like I ain't worried about not being able to swim, baby. I'm just worried about all of like
Surviving.
the water.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even care that I can't swim. And he was like, we'll just go upstairs. And I was like, but in Harvey, they was moving in boats. Girl, he was like, do you want to go to the hotel? And I was like, no, because we're going to have to ride on the road to go to the hotels. But I don't know, girl, I was in here. I was so stressed out. And I had so many messages on social media. And people was just scared for me because of the fact that they were posting pictures online of Houston flooding. And everybody's like, well, girl, are you okay? Because I know you're allergic to water. And I was like, I'm okay now,
but does that help or hurt? Because like if I was in your case, don't send me no messages like that, y'all, because y'all making my anxiety even worse.
Even worse. And I was just like, man, I stayed in here and I'm sitting at this window right now, laying on my couch, and I kid you not, every 5 minutes I got up and I stood and I looked outside. And I was telling him, I was like, this water on the side of the house getting a little high. He was like, hey, it's only like ankle length. And I was like, that's enough.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all it takes because I have to move in it. But I don't know. I just be like with the hurricane season, I was telling him, I was like, man, like I ain't gonna lie, like I've been through hurricanes because I've lived in Miami, but we didn't really have flooding. So I never worried about no floods. But it's like here, I'm just like, the hurricane season just began and it already came with a bang. Like, what if, what if? And I was like, I felt like I was getting myself worked up. So I kind of just stopped talking about it. But those are things I worry about. I worry about getting in my car. You check the weather app. I check it every morning. Sometimes it says it's going to be a sunny day. And this is Houston. 30 minutes into your day, girl, it's raining. And I'd be like, damn, I get stuck because I'm in the car. And now I'm like, I'm overthinking, I'm stressing, I'm worrying. And this is where anxiety attacks come in play. Because now I'm like working my own self up, thinking about what if, what if, what if. So it's rough.
Not in your business. Do you work?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, because I'm like, how can you keep a job? like
yeah,
no, because I'm thinking about if it's raining and it's in the car, you can't get out your car until the rain stop, and then, even then you have to still wait because the air is humid.
The air is humid. I haven't worked since when I moved to Houston. I was a flight attendant at the time, and I had to like give it up. And I was so sad. I was literally just telling my partners, I was like, man, I miss flying. I be on Instagram and I see all my friends. I'm like, oh, I miss being a flight attendant. But I always knew it was one of those things that eventually it would have to come to an end. And I feel like it came to an end because things started getting like more severe. Like anybody that has worked with me, anytime I was getting off the plane, I'll always take like the bottle of water because people used to say, oh, maybe it's the type of water. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. So it was just a lot. It was like a whole routine on top of having to be like a productive person at work. So it was just too much. So now like I just stay home. My only job is I take the kids to school and I go to the grocery store. And even sometimes that is a bit much. But when it does rain here, like my neighbor, like she'll help. As soon as they see rain, they'll call, hey, where you at? I'm gonna park behind you. Yeah, so they'll come and get my son, walk him, and my daughter daycare. They're great. Like whenever it's raining, as soon as they see my little car pull up, somebody's at the door and they come out and get her. So I don't really have to, like be outside. So the people who do know, they help. That's one thing I can say. I guess like being a little bit more vocal about it. Now I'm getting a little bit more help because people, they know.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've seen me experience certain things, I'm like, oh, girl, I don't want you to go through that. So I got it.
Yeah, that's really good. And that's the importance of sharing your story because that's how you build your community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time just looking back now? Because like hearing your story and like hearing the thoughts of you like talking about how you went into shock and you just thinking that's just a part of the allergy reacting to the allergy. Has there ever been a time when you thought that things could have been fatal?
Yeah, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I definitely, and it's not even just 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when I was like, okay, wow, I can really died. Like nobody has ever like sat down and like told me like the real severity of the allergy, because
Yeah.
it wasn't until I experienced certain things to where I was like, okay, now it's serious. But a lot of times I look back and I'm like, wow, I could have died. But then again, it's like at those time me experiencing those things, I didn't know those things could have happened, and the people around me didn't think those things could happen. So now I'm like, I'm happy that I'm at a point in my life now where it's like I'm not looking for validation from anybody. So if I feel a certain type of way now and I express it, I don't care if you take me serious. Because in the past I used to feel like, okay, people may feel like, okay, you're doing too much, like, you know, you over exaggerating or you overdoing it. But it's like now that I'm gonna say I've had close calls, I don't have to say much for people to take me serious.
Yeah.
They're 10 times ahead because they've seen it. But man, girl, when I went in the shock, I was in the bathroom for hours, and it's like, I was like, do you see my face? And my son was like, Mommy, why do you look like that? My daughter, she's 2. But at the time, like she was crying because it's like, okay, like I went from looking normal to
She
like
probably
looking,
was scared.
she
Yeah.
was scared to look partially like deformed. And I was like, my fiance, like, he takes nothing serious. So he was laughing. He was like, babe, you look like a
Really?
blow. Yeah, because nobody knew. Like, he was just like, oh, I've never seen it so bad. And I was complaining that my chest is getting tight. I felt like I couldn't breathe. But I don't want to sound ignorant or anything, but I wasn't even thinking about going into anaphylactic shock. I didn't think that was, I didn't
Even
think that can,
possible or it could happen? Yeah.
yeah, I didn't think that far, to be really honest with you. I didn't think that far because I'm learning about this allergy myself. And it's like whatever I experience and I go to the doctor, that's how they document it. That's how they get information on it, because we have to
Yeah.
experience certain things to give them knowledge. And that's the funny thing, because it's not so many of us, there's not so much information on it, which is why
Yeah.
there's nothing. So it's just like, if I should do anything right now and I get a little scratch, or I document it. And when I go to the doctor, I can say, hey, like, I noticed if I do this, then this happens. And then they'll sit down and they'll ask questions. I'm like, oh, this is how these researches are done. Like, you have to provide information for it to, for them to know what's going on. So now I just be like, I don't play with water. Like, it could be a teaspoon, a tablespoon. I don't play with it.
Yeah. I know that you posted an older Black lady on your story, and she was in the hospital because she is allergic to water as well. Do you typically
Yes.
do you reach out to people when you do find them, just so y'all can share notes and things and like see like what caused this for her? And because she was like, I was like, wow.
The funny thing is, someone sent her story to me, but when I went on her TikTok, it wasn't something that she really spoke about. And as I like went through her comments, like, she had other illnesses as well. Now that's the one thing I've noticed. Like, the only 2 people that I've really reached out to is Nia and someone else. Like, I think she's like in Cali, but hers is worse than mine. When I listen, some of these people got this things like so bad, because like I said, like the 2 that I know about,
Yeah,
they
hers
react
was way worse than you. I mean, I haven't seen pictures of yours, but hers looked really bad.
really bad. And that's because so she was drinking water to stay hydrated. See, I know better. I don't mess with it. And it's like now I'm at a point where I don't I already know the drinking the water affects me because I've experienced it years ago. Whether you believe me or not, the minute I see one sign, I don't go back to it. I
Yeah.
immediately change. So she was drinking the water to stay hydrated because it is hot as hell. And by her
Yeah.
doing so, it landed her in the hospital because she was getting hives. So she had to get IV through fluids. But I was telling my partner, a lot of times I'm in here and I'm like, I know I'm dehydrated, but it's like to go to the hospital and pay all this money. It's just like, in order to know, like, first of all, if I go to my primary care, they're gonna tell me to go to the hospital, which means I'm gonna go to the emergency room. I already know what's gonna happen. And to be honest with you, I be feeling like you become a test dummy. It's like there
Yeah.
is nothing for this. So it's like I just feel like they're gonna be trying everything. But I be telling him like, I know what it is outside, which is why I don't try to go outside because I know it's gonna drain my energy. But I just stay inside and I stick to my coconut water. I don't mess with nothing else, and I just keep it moving. But I don't know,
Yeah.
the people who I know, like, I be knocking on wood because like their health has deteriorated over the years.
Well, let's get into your everyday routine because, baby, her skin is glistening, baby. These teeth are white. Okay. You look, for somebody who don't drink no water, you look good, honey.
They be
Okay.
like, "Oh, drink water and mind your business." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." It's other things,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like my skin is really not that great, but the lighting does play like a big role in it. But if you see me in person, I was like, oh, okay,
No,
yeah,
that
okay.
skin is brown skin for the win, baby. That skin is glistening over there. Okay.
Oh my God.
So let's
Thank
talk
you. Thank
about,
you.
you're welcome. So like tell us about your routine because I know you have to prepare when it comes to like taking a bath or taking a shower or even just washing your face.
So the start of my morning, every morning as I wake up, I take allergy pill. So I have two forms. I have one that I get from the pharmacy over the counter, and I have one that was prescribed to me. But the one that was prescribed to me, I don't take it in the mornings because it makes me sleepy. So on days when I know like I have to take my kids to school, I obviously don't take it. I'll take like 𝐿𝐼𝐻 or something. But I
Yeah.
have to take that before I start my day. To prepare, I just recently updated my morning routine as far as like brushing my teeth. Because girl, I did not know that Colgate made like waterless toothbrushes. Like I just discovered that the other day because I don't know.
Wow.
It's just like certain things you don't even think about because certain things just come natural in life, right? So in the past, when I was brushing my teeth or anything, I'd have to use gloves. And even rinsing my mouth, it was causing me to have blisters. That's something I noticed last year too. So
So wait, you never
it was
got blisters before until recently?
never, yeah, till recently. So what I started doing now is I opt out from water and I use peroxide. So that's what I used to like rinse my mouth, whatever. But then I came across like the Colgate waterless toothbrushes. So I started using that because you don't need water. So I used that and girl, then I discovered some toothpaste tablets. I didn't even know that was a thing. Did not know it was a thing.
What?
So it's like a pill form and you just take it, you chew it, whatever, and good to go. When it comes to showering now, when I started sharing my story, a lot of people was like, you should use those things they use for in hospice. And I was like, never thought about that. Never thought about how they took their showers. Never thought about anything. And that's when people's like, "Oh, you should use those." They have no rinse body washes. Did not know it was a thing because again, like nobody properly informed me. So that's when I started doing my research. I went on Amazon and now I have a whole bunch of like no rinse body washes and the little washcloths. So I was torturing myself before, and it wasn't even like I was torturing myself. It was just multiple
You
steps
just
to where
didn't know.
I just didn't know. So it's like I went from like having to pre-soak my rag, putting everything in a tub, like taking it back to the baby days. I went to taking it back to the baby days. For now, it's just like things are so much easier now because I cut a lot of process out. But at the end of the day, I still have to clean myself. So at some
Yeah.
point, I have to still interact with the water. So even though I use like the no rinse body washes, like no rinse shampoos, girl, there come a time where I gotta get a good 2 minute shower. And those are usually the ones that kill me because I have to actually like cleanse myself. Like throughout the day, this is how I clean my hands.
She
You
is
know,
holding
the
up, what's that? Hand
hand
sanitizer?
sanitizer. Yeah, so I
Mm-hmm.
have these like all around my house. You know, like you wash your hands about maybe 20, 30 times a day. For
Yeah.
me, I try to limit my contact with water. So I'll use hand sanitizer all throughout the day until I finally have to wash my hands. Because after a while, your hands start to feel dirty. So like
Yeah.
I'll leave everything like I know like when it's school time, in the morning time I'll do a no rinse wash, whatever to start my day. But at the end of the day, I know once my daughter come home, I'm gonna have to get in the water because I have to bathe her. So it's like I combine everything all at once. So it's like when she take a shower, I take a shower. So she's a water baby. Both of my kids are water babies. I'm a
Mm.
2 second baby. So it's like, baby, mommy gotta go in, but mommy gotta come out. She
Yeah.
doesn't understand like how she can stay in the water for so long, but for me it's just like this is me in the water and then it's like that. So
Yeah.
I don't, girl, it's a lot. It's stressful, but I mean I just have to live with it and I just have to find ways to make it like better.
I'm surprised these brands ain't reached out to you and to partner with you.
I think they scared. Honestly, I don't know what it is because like they have no issue commenting on my videos, but
Yeah.
when it comes to like, I just feel like when people see me, I was like, okay, yeah, we gonna stay away from that because at the end of the day, I'm allergic to water, but every product
Has
has
water in
water,
it.
and water is typically the first ingredient. I've never had an issue where the products make my skin react, and I always felt like it's probably because they're so diluted. There's so much stuff in it anyway, so it's like
Yeah.
it won't really bother me. But I always felt like, damn, here I am in my routines. Like I'm doing this product, I'm showing this product, and none of them reach out. But they be quick to like come, oh, we love your video, da da da.
Are you reaching out to them?
I've reached out to many brands and I stopped because a lot of them it's the same. Oh, unfortunately, at this time we're not looking for any. And then I go on Instagram and I see like a new video. Oh my God, such and such partner. I go on TikTok and I just be like, oh, okay. I just feel like I'm just not the, I don't know. I just feel like because their product may have the one thing that I'm saying I'm allergic, so I just feel like it could be a little controversial. And I also feel like maybe the person who's reading my messages probably like, yeah, this girl crazy. We don't want nothing to do with her. So I just like my fiance, he always said me like when it's your time, it'll be your time. Like they'll reach out to you when the right person see it. So now I just make my videos and I used to always say, I'm not gonna tag any brands. I use the product because it gives me some form of comfort. I'm not saying your product stops whatever I'm going through, but it could be 10 product on the line and one of the 10 is gonna make me feel a little bit better. And that's why I use your product. I'm not using your product because, oh, I'm trying to get a brand deal. No, I'm actually using your product because it does bring some aid into my life. But I just feel like maybe the right person on that team they just haven't seen the video. That's how I always take it and not kind of be like emotional. Because everyone's like, oh, I'm surprised you don't have a brand deal. I'm like, I'm surprised too, but it's just probably not my time yet.
Yeah, we're gonna put it out there because I mean, you talk about these brands all the time, so they need to support you on this journey, and they never know. This can help some other people out and make people even want to support them even more because that is true. Like sometimes it gets frustrating as this a content creator. I'm doing air quotes, but this is your life. But it's frustrating when you see other people getting these brand deals and that. It's just like, yo, like I really have a story for your brand.
Right. Like the people use these products all because of a lot of people use products all because of the string of like influencing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like here I am. I'm telling you, like I remember when I posted my trolley of all the products I use. And this is when like the New York Post reached out to me and the lady that interviewed me, she was like, you have to use all these products. And I said, yes, because each and every one of them provides something. I was like, each one of these products provides something that the one I used before didn't. But surprisingly, when they're all together, they make me feel better. I'm not saying like when I use the products, like poof, my allergies on.
It's a process.
No, like, it's a process. Yeah, it's a step. So I'm like, a lot of these products because they may have menthol in it. It makes the skin feel cooler. So it gives me the illusion that at least my body's no longer hot. Cool. During all this step, I can't use regular lotion, so I have to use like an itching lotion. So I go for this itching lotion because da da da. And she was like, "Wow, that's a lot you're putting on your body." And I was like, well, "I can't do any better. Like that's just what my life is." And I've gotten used to it. It's like you don't use these many products.
Yeah. So what do you eat? Like, because I know you can't eat certain things. So like, what does that look like?
Funny thing is, I eat regular.
Oh, good.
I eat regular. I don't do anything. The only thing I don't do is just I don't just drink like water by itself. But I mean, cook with it. I can't find a way around it. I was literally just telling my partner too. I was like, oh, the kids are not here, so I'm gonna try changing the way I eat. Because I used to be a pescatarian before, but it's like now he's like, oh, but you got a house full of people that eats this. Well, I was like, well, it'll just be me. So at least I won't have to be buying the same thing for a house full of people. You guys eat regular and not just, I eat this way. But in the food, it doesn't bother me. It's just like, it's just like, girl, if it ever gets to that point, I don't know what I would do. Cause I'll be trying to like find like ways like I want to get into waterless skincare. And to find a brand, girl, that does not have water in it is hard. That's just it. It's like a do or don't thing. It's like if it's not water, it's going to be alcohol, and the alcohol is going to dry your skin out. So I was doing some research yesterday, and I was like, okay, it's a few brands that they may carry like products to where, and all it is, as long as the water is not the first ingredient, it's not going to be that bad. But ain't that many of them. Like, and even if you go on Amazon, you may see them marketed as waterless or whatever. Because I noticed the other day, I did a search on TikTok and I'm like, is this like supposed to be like a new wave? Because I'm like, it's a slap in the face for people who really do have like these allergies and it's like you market it as waterless and it's just like still water in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's truly not. And then I'm like, oh, maybe how do you create a product that doesn't have water in it. It's kind of like, damn you do, damn you don't. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's a give and take. I work with what I got. For the most part, cleaning my face, I just use a baby wipe. And yes, the baby wipes have water in it, but I can't do no better.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not
You
as damp as using the water.
the
So,
actual
you know,
water.
I can deal with a little sting if it does. I can deal with that, but I use baby wipes to clean my face. Like you wake up in the morning, what do? You turn on the water, you wash your face. For me, I go in the bathroom and I flip that thing open and I pull a wipe out and
Yeah.
I clean my face. Or now I started using like the no rinse washes because you can use them on your face, but some of them have like a sticky feel in it. So it's like even
Yeah.
if you use it, you still feel when I touch my skin, it's like wow,
It's that
it makes me
residue
feel like
that's
I'm
still
not.
on there.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm not clean. And it's just like I'm already paranoid about I don't do things the same as everybody else. So adding these products to it is like, yeah, I'll just stick to the baby wipes where I just wipe my face. If I gotta run through 10 a day, I run through 10 a day. But I just use the baby wipes.
I'm curious, how did you prepare for childbirth?
I had a C-section.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
both of my kids, I had C-sections, and I always tell them I'm allergic to water, but God bless you if one person on your team knows that this is a real thing or heard of it. And I want to say maybe now, because now that I started I share my story, I've seen a lot of nurses like, hey, I've come in contact with people in the hospital that are allergic to water. It's still not known,
Yeah.
but it's not like one of those like things where it's like, what? Never heard of it. But I had two C-sections, and I always like tell the doctors that yeah, I'm allergic to water. I do everything the same in pregnancy. I just, they tell you gotta drink this amount of water, girl. I ain't do none of that.
No, don't be
I drank everything I wasn't supposed to drink because I
you have no
can't. I
choice.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna come in here and tell you I drank a gallon of water a day because I lied. I don't think I've ever drank a gallon of water a day. You may see me with a big old pretty water thing because it's cute. If I'm
Yeah.
out at a restaurant, everybody at the table got a cup of water. No, thank you. No, I can't have the water. I'm allergic. Like, what? Just go ahead and put that water right there. As soon as you walk off, I move it to the side. Like I don't
Yeah.
touch it. And
Yeah.
even like the simple thing is the other day we went out to eat for Taco Tuesday and I got a margarita. And when the guy brought the glass, when the waiter brought the glass, I wrapped the glass with napkins. And my fiance was like, why would you do that? And I was like, because the glass is gonna sweat, and when it's sweat, it's gonna be
Yeah.
my hands is gonna
Like,
be
what you
moist.
mean? Why he acting like he don't know what time it is?
He was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And he was like, why you just don't hold it by the handle? And I was like, I don't know. Sometimes out of just a natural instinct, I just grab for the cup, whether it's the handle or the body. And I was like, I just wrap it because if the moisture from the cup get on my hand, like it makes my hand itch, like it makes it red. Like I don't want to sit at the restaurant and be like this because I'm gonna start making everybody around me uncomfortable. Like I feel like people naturally already scoring you when they feel like you have some form of illness. Like so it's like I don't want to be like this because if you turn around and look at me too many times and I'm doing this, you're gonna start like
What the hell is
like
she doing? Right.
what is up? And then not even and on top of that, I didn't have my wig on, so I'm walking around with my bald head. Then that's a whole nother story. But I'm just like, yeah, I don't want all that attention because I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to ask you about that, but before we do, because I know you mentioned before that you are allergic to your own sweat and your tears. So, not to get in your business or anything, but is it difficult for you to be intimate with your husband?
I got this question a lot, but kinda. But I feel like we found ways like to work around it.
Okay.
Certain things I just don't do,
Yeah.
and
It's not you don't do, you probably can't do it.
I just can't do. Yeah, and like
Right.
he understands. Like I feel like I was blessed enough to get with a person that was mature enough to understand certain things. And I don't know, I just naturally feel like because he's seen me experience like so many different like stages of this thing, like he's just gotten to the point he's just like, yeah, babe, like I just prefer if we just don't do this. Like even when
Yeah.
I was pregnant, like I wanted so hard to try to have a vaginal birth. And like when they were explaining like everything, he was like, yeah, no, he was like, just stick to what you did before. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's a plus. Having somebody that he's mature enough to understand that, okay, I'm not just not doing it because I don't want to, but it's kind of like a life or death. Do you want to stop in the middle of getting your groove on and have to take me to the
Yeah, you're in the
emergency
middle
room?
of it. Wait, has that happened before?
No.
Oh, thank
No,
God.
thankfully it hasn't happened before. But the most that has happened is after, I go like in an itch frenzy. Like I have to sit there and scratch myself. And sometimes it's just, I ain't gonna lie, for anybody, it could be a bit overwhelming because sometimes for me it's a bit overwhelming. So I can only imagine like for a person dealing with it from the outside, just like, damn, again, like shit.
Yeah. Right. But like you said, thank God for your husband that he's patient and also just mature enough to deal with that. Because some people are just so ignorant and they would think that you're being selfish or whatever the case may be, when honestly you just can't do certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now recently, because y'all, we were supposed to have this conversation, maybe some months ago or something?
Months ago. Yes. Yeah, like 3 or 4 months ago, actually.
Yeah, and the day of our interview, you emailed me and you were saying how you was in the hospital. And then when I follow up with you, because I'm like, I really want to share your story on the show, you recently told me how you had to shave your hair off because of your allergy.
I'm bald.
Yeah, she's showing me her hair. She's pulling the wig back, baby. Yeah. So how has that been? Because I can only imagine how emotional you probably were.
It is, and like I say, even now, like I've had shortcuts before because I was short and blonde like years ago, but like I said, like I was scalped bald, and it's so funny because like I did a video of like everything I experienced in 1 month, and I just felt like the next month it was just like damn, it just went downhill like real fast because I shared a video of what happens when I sweat. Even like right now, I know wearing this wig like it's gonna offset me, but I'm just not fully comfortable yet on camera with like my head. Like it's still not at the length that I'm used to. So I guess what's happening is like the perimeter of my head is always problematic, even when I had my pixie cut because
that's where the wig cap is at too, though.
Yeah, that's where the wig cap is. And even naturally, when you cover your head, it starts from the perimeter. So I have shared some pictures, and it was like the perimeter of my head. I would have sores, and it dates back to when I shared a video of how I washed my hair. As soon as I got out of the shower, like the perimeter of my hair was like sores, and it got to the point where, okay, cool. I cut my hair into a pixie cut, and it was all good for like 3 days. And after like the third day, like my parent was like, "Oh, you should have just cut it because like you spent all this money and da da da." And I was like, "Well, I didn't think it was gonna, happen this quick because now I have a pixie cut." And then it went to the point where like 2 weeks into the pixie cut, girl, I had to cut it. So I cut it a little bit. And then I noticed I was still having the same issues. And it was actually getting worse because I'm like, okay, it's summertime. So it's even hotter outside.
Yeah.
And one day I was here and I couldn't take it no more. Like my head, it was itching. And I felt like because it was itching and I was getting sores, when you get scabs, if you've ever seen somebody get scabs in their scalp, like it takes the hair with it. So, I would like scrape the comb and it was like taking my hair, and like it got to the point where I posted a video too. Like you can see it's like my hairline is here and then it was a little like like you said, no hair, and then like my hair starts. And I just got to the point I was like, I'm just gonna cut my hair. The kids are not here, so I don't really have to go outside. And if I do have to go outside, I just put on a hat. I cut my hair and it was low to where it wasn't like bald. And girl, I kid you not, the next 2 days after that, I was having the same issue. And then it started like it was like going around my head. So I just decided to cut it. Like I just chopped it all off, like scalp, like baby scalp.
Yeah.
And then I did it like that, and then I thought we were good, I didn't have any issues. But on day 2, we do walk every night, and we normally walk at nights because it's cooler, the sun is down, whatever.
Yeah.
And on this night, like it was cool. It wasn't like humid or anything, but we walked, and when I came back home, oh my God, the next morning I woke up, my fiance was like, "Oh my God, babe, your head." And I had like a lot of heat bumps like in the back. It was disgusting. I had a lot of like heat bumps or whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I stopped going outside. So now that it's growing back like a little bit, even though it's growing back a little bit, like you can see, like I have a lot of like trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for the face to be over. And
but you look cute with short hair though.
Everybody says that, but when I was like walking out here looking like somebody uncle, I was just like, no.
Girl, you ain't look like nobody uncle stuff.
Girl, I was like, no, I called my daughter. She's with her grandparents, and I was like, I just got in the camera and she was staring and she was just like, Mommy, you're so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. She like, kids are so innocent. But girl, my 11-year-old, he was like, nah, why would you do that? he was like, one day he was like, why would you do that? And
I'm
I was
surprised
like,
you don't be cursing your kids out, child.
God, oh my
Especially the
God. I was
little
like,
one, because he be
boy,
trying it.
I said, you want me to be walking around here? I said, would you rather me have patches in my head, like where you see pus and blood? Definitely need to be scalp. He was like, scalp, but I'm just saying, why would you do that?
Right.
I was like, I'm like, do you understand or do you not understand? And he was like, I understand, but what's the, I guess his fear was like, is your hair gonna grow back? And I was like, baby's hair is always gonna grow back. So it's like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it's just gonna grow back. But girl, being outside with like a scalp head, and then I walked for like 3 minutes, and then I'm like, I felt I was getting, oh, the stairs made me so uncomfortable. I was like, yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Put on a hat real quick. And even now, like my sister-in-law came to the house and she saw my wig. She was like, I'm gonna throw it away. Look what it did to your head. You still wearing it. And I was like, yeah, because I'm not comfortable when I go out. But as soon as I get in the car, I take my wig off. Like, no questions asked.
Right.
It comes on and it comes off. As soon as I come home, I just take it off. But it's just like when I'm in the presence of other people, I just, now I'm gonna have to explain it.
How do you maintain a positive outlook despite this entire journey with your water allergy? Because I feel like I can only imagine how frustrating it has been, but you still seem upbeat, positive, optimistic. So how do you maintain that?
You know what I always say? It could be worse. I always say like, yeah, I'm allergic to water. I feel like it's more of an inconvenience than it is anything. I always tell myself that as somebody in a hospital that got it worse than me right now, because they're being told that tomorrow maybe their last day or whatever. But for me, it's annoying. It's just an inconvenience. And I'm like, you know what? I'd rather live with being inconvenienced than, to live with whatever. Even though I know like if I do the wrong thing, I can also be in that position, but at least I can prevent it.
Yeah.
There's other people there in positions that, if they can't prevent it, it happened to them and it's just a waiting game. So I just always naturally tell myself that it can, it's not so bad. And then I tell people, I'm like, you know what? I'm just blessed. Like God just picked me. I don't know. He picked me. Yeah. And I feel like I'm special. I be in church and I was like, I just feel like God made me a little extra special. And they're like, yeah, but and I'm just like, well, here I am trying to tell you I'm trying to be positive, and you're like, well, how this, how that. Like a few weeks ago, I was in church, and we're talking about like getting baptized and stuff like that, and I was like, well, no, my partner's like, yeah, he want to get baptized, and I was like, okay, well, you go first, and then whatever. I'm like, it's not that I don't want to get baptized, it's just I don't know how that process would go, like and I was explaining, and they were like, but can't you? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And it's like they sat and they thought about so much solutions. And I'm like, you're not really baptized unless you go underneath the water. That's I've never seen it done no other way. I don't know if it can't be done no other way. So I just be like, it's okay. I'm not worrying about it because I know what will happen if I do that. And knowing that I know what will happen if I do that, and it's kind of on me if I put myself in a position and God forbid, that happens. So it's like I always say, we'll cross that bridge when I get there. But for now, I just feel like God just made me a little extra special.
Yeah. And I think that's so beautiful that you said that, because when while we having this conversation, the whole time I'm just thinking about like, damn, I can just only imagine how many people lost their lives because nobody believed them that they had this water allergy.
And then the funny thing is like, it's not like, if that should happen to you, do like an autopsy, typically autopsy would show like a cause of death. A lot of people probably went out and people just thought it was a natural cause, not knowing that these people struggle, like you struggle, and they probably didn't even know they was allergic to water. So it's like, you just feel like you're going crazy. And that's what it does to you, girl, because it's like, water would be the last thing you even think you could be allergic to. So it's like to pinpoint it and be like, well, it's this, like, and you have to deal with like not knowing, like every day you experience this. And that's a lot of people. They're like, oh, you know what? I know every time I take a shower, this happens, or if I do this. And I was like, well, you may need to find you an allergist, and God bless your heart that you find somebody that's actually like
that understands,
experience and understands.
And experience, so
well, I remember like when I first posted my video, you're gonna have people that they're on the fence. It's like I kind of want to believe her because I see she's got like all this proof, but then again, I don't. So like a lot of people was tagging like doctors. They was tagging doctors on my post, like allergists. Oh, and God bless his heart, Dr. Rubin. He's an allergist. He's like really big on TikTok. Like he picked up my story and he was like, "Yep, there's such thing." And like he explained it in detail, and I was like, "Oh, thank God," because I had doctors that commented and they were like they've never heard of it. But just because you've never heard of it doesn't necessarily mean it's not true.
Yeah.
You just you weren't blessed enough to come across me, girl. That's all it is. Not that
Right.
you would never forget me because like, damn, that girl allergic to water. You would never forget me now.
Yeah. Do you think there will ever be a cure, or do you hope there will be one?
You know what? People ask me, and I'll just be like, honestly, I don't even think it's something that's on their radar. Like, it's just not too many of us. And because it's a lot of other people out there that is struggling with it, but they themselves probably don't even know that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like you really don't have anyone like speaking up for yourself. And for the five of us, like for the five of us, that's well, for the four of us that I know I've come across people making videos about this. It's only four people, and even like the four of us that's saying like we experienced this, and all of us seem to experience different things. You still have five people underneath that post saying, "Oh, this is a lie, da da da. There's no way. How are you still alive? Because your body's made up of 75% of water." And it's just like a lot of things we cannot explain, but because we can't explain doesn't mean these things are not happening. So it's like I can only imagine. Thank God that you're not a doctor because you would have talked to every patient that came in contact with you. So I honestly don't feel like it's something on their radar. Honestly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And last but not least, what is your advice to someone who has just been diagnosed with this, or who even they may think that they even might have it, and no one believed them?
Baby, you got to be strong on this road. That's one thing I can say. Baby, you have to be strong on this road because for a while, you're going to be the only person that believe whatever it is that you're saying. It's going to take a while for people around you to like fully believe and take you serious. No matter what you do, girl, you could go underneath water and da da da. They'll, girl, maybe it's this, maybe it's your soap, maybe it's the laundry detergent. Like people, I feel like people always try to like downplay that these things are real. So one thing I can say is like to keep your sanity and to keep yourself like in a mental state, like you yourself, as long as you believe that this is what it is and you know this is what you're going through, like don't even depend on or rely on anybody for validation because it affects you more than anything. Because I spent my whole life like trying to get people to believe me. And only my immediate family did. And the only reason why they did is because they saw it firsthand.
They was with you. Yeah.
They was with me. So it's like I didn't have to convince, but I'm telling you, once you experience this and you start trying to convince other people, girl, you're gonna lose yourself. So it's just like you know what it is. And the more you talk about it, you're gonna come across somebody that has either experienced it or is going through it. And that's gonna be the thing that keeps you saying, like, a lot of times when I feel down, I go on TikTok and I read my comments like I'm not the only one. Like I feel like I would say I feel seen, like I'm heard. Yeah. Like whether you believe me or not, I know one thing for sure, you will never forget me.
Okay.
And whether you would never forget me. And it's like even if a person is on the verge of saying, I'm not sure. It's something in the bottom of their heart. It's like they have a little drop of sympathy because they could physically see, but because they've never experienced it, it's a high possibility that they still won't even believe you. So you just got to put your energy into figuring out ways that works for you because all of us are doing it. And some days, we like for me, like I want to be a content creator so bad, girl, but I am so inconsistent because like it takes one thing to blow my bubble, and I'm just like, nope, I'm not doing it. Right. Because it's like I always say, like, yes, I started talking about my journey and my videos. God bless me, they hit the right side of the internet. But I never know every other video I put out after that is going to be the same. And I always feel like on all my videos, I have to put allergic to water because if I just post a video and I'm like, how I take a shower without no water. Girl, before you even listen to the video or watch a video, you're going to call me nasty. Yeah. But you nasty because how you ain't bathed and you got a man. People going to like go in. So I feel like to always kind of protect my feelings because I can get a little sensitive. I always have to put allergic to water, how I take a shower without water. Because by you seeing that, it'll make you want to stick around. You're like, damn, like you allergic to water. But I just hate the fact that I constantly have to remind the person that, hey, I'm allergic to water. But at the same time, I have to tell myself that, girl, this is not a known thing. So yes, you kind of do have to constantly remind people, but some people gonna be okay with it and some people not.
And I think like I told you earlier, I think by you constantly sharing your story, because I do think that by you putting I'm allergic to water opposed to not putting it, I think that when you do put that, it's gonna find that person that really needs it. I think your story is so beautiful, and I'm just so proud of you. And just, I can't even imagine what you go through on a daily basis. But to see you here, brown skin for the win, the skin is glistening. I think you look beautiful without the wig. So I really do hope that you feel confident enough to, just to wear it, because I think that you are a walking billboard for people who need hope.
And you know what? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. But girl, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes like finding the courage is like, I don't know.
It's another job.
It's hard. It's not
it's hard.
You don't just come and people be like, oh, we want you to be transparent, but I also feel like when you be transparent, people judge you. And it's like, ugh. But I'm sitting here telling you that I'm this, and you still telling me this.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, but niggas gonna talk regardless. So you just have to figure out a better way to like tune them out and just stay focused. Yeah, because niggas gonna always have something to say, especially us. So
girl, you know what the funny thing is? I'm like, damn, like I've sat here at this desk for about the past 3 days, and I've been like making videos, and I have not posted them. He's like, you recording all these videos, and I was just like, I even though I have a community, I still have to worry about where this video like end up. And I thought about it so much. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my interview without a wig. But then I'm just like, these people don't know me. So it's like if you see me on your screen, like you just, this bald head bitch, what she gotta say?
See, now? I wasn't even thinking that. Because when you logged in, you had a shortcut with the blonde hair. So I'm like, oh, she put some blonde to it. I thought it looked beautiful. And even
it's coming.
Yeah, and even when you showed me the clips and stuff, I'm like, you got a nice size head. I'm like, you ain't like no big ass like bucket head or anything.
They call me cone head. Like, girl, they don't respect me here. They be like cone head. Or sometimes like my son, before he went on his vacation, he would just walk behind me and he'll swipe the back of my head and he'd be like, decline. I'd be like, boy,
can you stop like punishment?
I'm like, go find you something to do. Even my dog, like I have a service dog. He right here. I have a service dog, and he's a poodle. And girl, when I cut my hair, he was like, I know he didn't like it because he wouldn't even like put his nose. Like he didn't want nothing to do with my hair. He was like, what the hell is going on? But I have a Frenchie, and the Frenchie, she's 3. I just got the service dog, and he's not even 1. He's like 11 months. So the Frenchie's like, okay, here she goes. She going through one of them things again. Like she just, this is normal, no red flag. And then my service dog, he's just like, I've never seen this before. What's going on? But it's like now that my hair is like, it started like growing back. Like he's like more into. I'm like, okay, he's very protective of me. But
and this is a service dog for like your emotional support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came into my life. So when it's like normally when it's raining, like he'll be in a car with me, whatever. And if I'm home, girl, he'll be on me. Like anywhere I am in the house, he's always next to me. And I'm so happy I got him because we got a Frenchie, and I feel like she didn't give a shit about me, girl. I could be in here on the floor crying, like scratching, and like she'll just be like, oh, "Okay, here we go again." I always felt like that's how she is. And I'll be telling my husband, like, this dog, like, she there's just no emotional connect. Like she's just disconnected. It's like, oh my god, here she go again. She cried, like, oh, she cried. Come and it is like my dog, the poodle, he'll just come and like. I don't know about him laying on me and calms me down. My friend, she's like, oh my God, here you go. Okay, get her 30 minutes. She gonna stop.
Right.
She's been here for the ride. So I guess she's just like, okay. As long as the people don't come with the stretcher, she okay.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm so happy that we were able to make this happen because I was like, oh my God, I really wanted you to be on the show. And you never know who may hear this, who may need it. So I really appreciate you.
I hope it hit the right side because it's only a few of us out here and it's hard. So when y'all see this, be nice.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna be nice. I don't play that shit. And to the listeners, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please make sure to email me at hello@thephdpodcast.com. And until next time, everyone, later.
Bye.